whole lot of medical records in the US getting, well, leaked, like 200 million of the damn things, because of problems with an insurance agency. Oh, it's only minor stuff. Like, the whole world knows more about you than you do. Yeah. And do you think that doesn't lead to problems for people? If you've got, say, going into that nice, friendly little clinic because you've been to one of those fun places that you've been to and you didn't use the proper protection and you don't want your wife to know about it.
Here's where we're met.
Oh, there you go. Then that becomes something people use for extortion. So records need to be protected. So if we're thinking about this, we could make all sorts of funky applications, like a medical record application that records who has access to things. Because we can keep this blockchain tracky thing that we have built in that does all this sort of stuff automatically without us having to really understand how it works. It's just there. And we pop in this SDK thing and we don't even need to know what the hell a hash is other than we can use it, and what happens behind there, I don't care because there's this SDK. So think about that for a moment. Where else might we need this sort of privacy record? Other than a wallet that would save medical record data, available to all of the right doctors, record all of the information on who accesses, what other things are there? What else do we need? We need commercial records. What about logistics? We've got a whole global world where people move shit all over the place all the time. And in this country, people remember Mad Cow? Yeah, we went round and killed the whole country's cattle because one or two farms up in a certain area actually had a problem. And just better to kill everything. Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually knew where things happened from? Or the cholera outbreak that affected some cucumbers from Germany a decade and a bit ago. We wiped out all of the different vegetables because we didn't know what was wrong and didn't know where they came from until months later. Wouldn't it be nice just to go, those ones, and just stop them? If there's a bad batch, engine annealing goes wrong, and a particular group of engines, rather than recall every vehicle manufactured that year and check it, wouldn't it be better to go, that one? Your engine is likely to fail within 6 months if we don't do some work, and send that out with an apology and a correction and save money by not recalling every single vehicle around the world that you made. But equally, you want privacy associated with each of these things, and you want only the people involved to know. And you want that not only because of all the negative things there, but companies too want privacy. So if you are BMW and there's something screwed up on the exhaust, do you want every person on earth to get a notification? No. So you want only those people who are involved. And you want to sound proactive and go, we're giving you a free service because we're going to do blah, 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 and your car will be better than you, and we'll give you a replacement while we're doing it. And everyone goes, wow, isn't that great? Not like the screw-up Toyota made a decade ago. And that's good. Corporations need privacy too. Not to hide their screw-ups, but to not embarrass themselves totally. Not to have a SeaWorld type little disaster with whales where you totally do it wrong. For those who don't know, SeaWorld ruined their total reputation by mistreating, well, they had an orca that attacked and killed one of the trainers, and what do? They go onto Twitter and go, that's no big deal. Yeah, tell that to a family. Anyway, when, how, what? What are we saving? Why are we saving it? How are we going to make sure that it's only there long enough? All of these are considerations we need to think about. So everyone sits there going, we need to put information on chain. Not everything. but we need to link it. So let's think about NFTs for a start. We don't want NFTs the way that people are using them and linking them in Twitter right now. What is the value of an NFT for digital art?
Nothing.
Wrong. There is actual digital art.
Access control.
So digital art does exist. I've written about certain things that are pre-NFTs that are remarkable modern art that is basically digitally based, videos, etc. What I'll say though is, you don't find them on, you might find a little clip on YouTube or something, but the whole art isn't. And it's not put out there on the internet so that everyone can get a copy. Some of them are stored in frames and they don't transfer. But they might be digital, but they're restricted and controlled. And we can do that too. So if you build something like an image, it doesn't need to be the current format. Think about this for a moment. Your wallet can be specialized with keys that you, as the wallet owner, control. And there are other things like provable deletion. There are ways of destroying access keys so that when you copy somewhere else, it provably means you have deleted a file. These technologies aren't new. Back before Facebook and everyone sort of came out there and Sean Parker said the internet needs to be free because we're all communists, we had this idea that we should control these files. When people were selling access to cable and things like that, people did it badly, but they wanted to control it. So let's think, is it better to have my file available after I've sold it? Or is it better that I don't have access to it if I sell it? So if we want to do things like NFTs, they shouldn't just be digital boring gorillas. They should also be records. They should also be documents, contracts. And we should be able to control who has a copy of those. If we build applications and we tie them into TKIP functions on devices, and we make hardware keys available, and we build it so that you don't get to backdoor into the thing and bypass it without breaking the damn thing and losing it, think about what that means. We could have something tied to a copy. Maybe you could have a backup function that only ticks in when you've provably lost a copy, or as soon as you're online, that copy is destroyed. Maybe that links into a function where if you want to keep accessing it, you need to access the blockchain and make sure that the UTXO is valid. And yes, in theory, you could make your whole own infrastructure where you replicate the internet with your own copy of the Bitcoin nodes and everything like that so that you never lose access even after you've sold it. But really? You want to copy the internet so that you have a digital ape? Yeah. So think about this for a moment. If we want privacy, doesn't that also mean that when a file gets moved, it's not copied? So isn't that something that everyone likes to think isn't possible? Now imagine, and we'll cover this after the break in more detail, when we talk about anonymity and other things like this. But I want you to think for a moment, if Mr. Snowden could only copy files with authorization, what would have happened? If your housing records can only be copied with your authorization and someone else's authorization, and then the original is destroyed and the only copy exists, are you going to protect it better? If you have a corporation where you need 3 or 5 directors to sign off on accessing sensitive files in the firm, will people have corporate espionage the same way? Isn't this privacy? So when we're talking about NFTs, we're not talking about boring apes that you can just pull up the image and everyone in the world has a copy of. What we're going to talk about is the nature of real privacy. Actually having a file that provably is a single file. If I'm an artist and I make a copy of an album with 10,000 copies and I limit it and I provably do it, then that has value. So.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.